Every time you turn on your computer or phone, two tiny pieces of hardware are working behind the scenes to make everything possible, and most people have never really understood the difference between them. I'm talking about RAM and ROM. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what they do, how they're different, and why your device literally cannot function without both. Let's break it down. Before we dive into RAM and ROM specifically, let's zoom out. Computer memory is generally split into two types: primary memory, the memory the CPU accesses directly, and secondary memory, like your hard drive or SSD, which stores files long-term. RAM and ROM both belong to primary memory. They sit close to the processor, ready to feed it information instantly. Let's start with RAM Random Access Memory. RAM is temporary, high-speed memory that stores data your computer is actively using right now. Here's the key word: volatile. That means as soon as you cut the power, everything stored in RAM disappears completely. Think of RAM like a whiteboard. You write on it while you're working, you erase things, you rewrite, but the moment you wipe it clean, nothing remains. RAM allows the CPU to both read and write data extremely fast. This is why more RAM in your laptop or phone means smoother multitasking, more space for the whiteboard, essentially. There are two main types of RAM you should know. DRAM, or dynamic RAM, this needs to be constantly refreshed thousands of times per second to hold data, but it's affordable, so it's used as your computer's main memory. SRAM, or static RAM, faster and more expensive, and it's used inside the CPU itself as cache memory. Now, let's talk about ROM read-only memory. Unlike RAM, ROM is non-volatile, meaning it keeps its data permanently, even without power. ROM stores the essential startup instructions your device needs, commonly known as firmware or BIOS, the very first thing that runs the moment you hit the power button before your operating system even loads. Traditionally, ROM could only be written once and never changed, hence read-only. But modern versions can actually be reprogrammed. Here are the three you'll commonly hear about. PROM programmable ROM, which can be written to once. EPROM erasable programmable ROM, which can be erased using ultraviolet light. EEPROM electrically erasable programmable ROM, which can be erased and rewritten electrically, and it's the most common type used in modern devices. So let's put them side by side. RAM is volatile, ROM is non-volatile. RAM is fast, ROM is comparatively slower. RAM can be read from and written to constantly. ROM is mostly read-only. RAM handles your active tasks, ROM handles startup instructions. And in terms of size, RAM is typically measured in gigabytes, while ROM chips are usually just a few megabytes. Here's an easy way to remember the difference. Think of RAM as your desk. You spread out papers and tools while you're actively working, and at the end of the day, you clear it off completely. Now think of ROM as a rulebook carved in stone. It's always there, it rarely changes, and it tells you the basic steps to get started, no matter what. Let's see how RAM and ROM actually work together every single time you turn on your device. Step 1. You press the power button. Step 2. The ROM. BIOS wakes up first and performs a quick self-test, checking that everything is functioning correctly. Step 3. The BIOS locates your operating system on the storage drive and begins loading it. Step 4. The operating system gets loaded into RAM, where it can run at high speed. Step 5. From this point on, RAM takes over handling every app, process, and task you interact with, while ROM quietly waits, ready for the next time you restart. So to sum it up, RAM is temporary, fast, and handles everything your computer is actively doing right now. ROM is permanent, stable, and holds the essential instructions needed to start your device. One gets your computer going, the other keeps it running. Together, they make every device you use possible. If this video helped you finally understand RAM and ROM, hit like, subscribe for more tech breakdowns, and let me know in the comments what topic you want explained next.